X-Men Dark Phoenix officially names their director, but is the rookie ready? I'm DJ Wooldridge, and this is Screen Junkies News. After work as either a producer or writer on 8 X-Men movies, multiple outlets are reporting that Simon Kinberg has been named as the director of the next year's X-Men Dark Phoenix. The Hollywood Reporter says James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, and Jennifer Lawrence are all currently in talks to return for the next installment of the franchise. The article goes on to say that the movie will more closely resemble the original comic book storyline of the Dark Phoenix, which would appear true because also joining the film, if the deal can be reached, is Jessica Chastain, who will be playing what they are calling the film's villain, the Shi'ar Empress, Lilandra Narimani. With me to discuss if Kinberg is the man for the job and what the inclusion of the Shi'ar could mean are Roth Cornett and Daniel Radford.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
So, Kinberg has been a producer on many an X-Men film. Mm-hmm. He's very familiar with the franchise, but this is his first time directing. This is also kind of a mulligan for him because they tried to do Dark Phoenix with Last Stand,
right?
And it did not go well.
It was just completely different. It was just like not the Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, and they also tried to put in the Astonishing X-Men plotline with the Cure and everything. But anyway, so this is kind of a mulligan for him. He's been with the franchise for a while. What do you guys think of him being put in charge of the movie?
I'm interested to see what winds up happening. I don't think that there's, you always run that risk when you have someone who is so steeped in it, but they've never done something on like this scale before. So I'm not going to outright discount it and be like, no, because he's been in these X-Men movies. He's been there for all of them. It's not like he's not going to be able to like ask his buds like, hey guys, hey Matt, hey guys, you want to help me with this, scene or with this huge fight or with this huge battle? I think he's going to have a really supportive team of people around him. Yeah. So I'm very interested to see what decisions he winds up making.
I mean, I feel like you're right. I think everyone involved in Last Stand wanted a do-over, particularly with that storyline, and particularly, having to do with Cyclops and Jean and that relationship. So this is that opportunity, and they've been waiting for that opportunity. A number of years ago, I was able to interview even Bryan Singer when he was doing Jack the Giant Killer. Yes. And we talked about X-Men, and he was then working on Days of Future Past. I think that's the timeline. And but the point is, it was Days of Future Past because we talked specifically about Jean and Cyclops and that storyline and how he wanted a do-over. And he wanted to, quote, fix some SHI, you get it. I can't say that stuff here, as it turns out. So I feel like that's equally true of Simon Kinberg, who did write that movie. He also, as you say, has written many other movies. He wrote Mr. and Mrs. Smith. He is a writer and producer on Star Wars Rebels. So this is a man who's been very, very steeped in this industry for a long time as not just a producer, but a creative producer and a writer.
And Matthew Vaughn, who directed X-Men First Class, successfully transitioned from producing to directing, moving from Guy Ritchie movies to Layer Cake, and then to Kick-Ass, and eventually X-Men himself. However, he didn't jump straight to X-Men. He did do Layer Cake. He did do Stardust. Is this too steep a curve? Like, should he have done like a mid-tier indie movie and then gone to like X-Men?
He's not a guy that has time to do a mid-tier
movie. Where would he fit that in?
He just does it because he's really, really busy. He's working on all these projects.
Well, and he's also, he's been in all of these X-Men movies forever. So I kind of like the idea that you take someone who's been writing and who's been working and you give them the ball and see how they run with it. That's something that I really appreciate, just watching kind of, like you do the hard work, you stick around, and eventually they go, you know what, we're going to make you the guy. Just, you've been here, you know this stuff, have at it.
Yeah, here's the thing. We heard rumors a few months ago that he was going after this. That he very, very much wanted this opportunity. Sort of famously and reported widely in the trades was that during Fantastic Four, he and Josh Trank were the ones that were truly at odds in the making of that movie. They had completely different visions, and you can see that in the film. It's two different visions that don't belong together. Whether one would have been better, either one could have been better probably left alone, but together they didn't work. But the point with that is he did have a clear vision that he wanted to execute. He is very attached to these characters. He is very embedded in this franchise. And I think he's a very talented, smart guy. The closest analog in my mind from director or like transition from director from another position is editor, because that is the person that is making choices that are directly related to story and the construction of story. Now, people are going to argue with me, so let me defend myself.
Save your arguments for the comments.
No. I want to defend myself, because here's the thing. It could seem like a cinematographer, for example, because the director is certainly making calls about the shots and construction and things like that. Or even there's the least transition, the visual effects people, I think, are always worried around the wrong things. But a creative producer / writer or an editor who's really there to construct the story on a franchise this big, all of the people around Kinberg are going to be great at what they do.
Right.
All of the people around him that are in charge of the special effects, that are in charge of the action sequences, that are in charge of the cinematography are going to be amazing at what they do. So his primary function, besides directing actors who are also very good at what they do, is going to be about the story and making the story work, and that's what he does.
So for you think the easiest transition to make is...
No, I agree.
It's amazing.
Absolutely.
So you think the easiest one is editor. What do you think the hardest is?
I think that, I mean, look, anything can happen. Anything can happen, and I think there's been great transitions from all kinds of positions in crew to director. But I think from what I've seen in large cases over the last number of years, and the reason I say that about editors is because editors, that is where the story really comes together.
It really is,
is in the editing. They are making the choices that are making that story work. A movie lives or dies by the editing. And if you look at raw footage, you really see how important it is. A lot of the times there's been big visual effects people that have made movies in recent years, and to me, they're almost always concerned too much about the look and does it look cool, and never is it motivated. Like, that shot is cool, but why is it there?
Right.
Is it helping? Every single thing should be serving the story. I am done lecturing.
Okay,
no, that's a great
God.
That is a great lecture. I'm not
going to say another thing.
I will take Roth 101 for that one.
Exactly.
I will
New
take
show,
that one. That's
we're
good.
Premiering Roth 101. No. So the other part of this news is that Jessica Chastain is in talks to play the role of Lilandra, which incorporates a very new aspect to the X-Men movies that we have not seen before, which is a more cosmic aspect of it. What do you guys think that means for the movie going forward?
Well, obviously, this is now X-Men in space.
Set us up with who the character is. So, and look at the talent they're getting.
That is amazing. So it's interesting to me that they're going with Lilandra as kind of the main villain, because if you read any of the X-Men, or if you kind of remember the X-Men cartoon, Lilandra and Professor Xavier are like kiss buddies.
Yes.
They're kissing friends.
Very much so.
So,
congrats, James McAvoy, by the way.
By the way. So what you have is the Shi'ar are this really advanced technological alien civilization. Again, if you ever read the comics and you see that sometimes Professor Xavier has a floating chair, that floating chair is Shi'ar technology. And so Lilandra is the empress of the Shi'ar. So she is in charge. She oftentimes, her and her siblings, they have like a rivalry over who's going to get the throne. And so it's interesting that now we're starting to get, again, X-Men in space. Is this them kind of taking a page from the success of Guardians and the idea of, okay, we were earthbound, but we have an entire cosmic universe that we can play in. So let's go forth and we can get that, and we can bring in, we can bring in the Starjammers. You can bring in the Imperial Guard and a Gladiator, who Gladiator is essentially, so Starjammer's right there, that's Corsair, that's X-Men, X-Men Scott Summers' dad. There is Gladiator. Gladiator is essentially the Superman of the Shi'ar Empire. Like, he will punch you through walls, and it happens a lot, and it's always really, really cool when it does. And so that's something that's incredibly interesting, and getting into that meat. What other kind of cool space stuff can we see? Can we see, does this mean eventually we'll get the Phalanx as we get, what else, now that we've opened up this whole new like storytelling, what else are we going to get?
I also submit Danielle 101.
Rob, what do you think about, do you think this is them trying to do their own Guardians?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't necessarily think they're trying to do Guardians per se, tonally speaking, but I think that they're taking a cue from the success of the more cosmic universe and going, because look, a lot of people are complaining with X-Men, like, you're just kind of redoing the same thing over and over again. So how are they going to shake it up? And this is a way. If they open up the cosmic universe, then suddenly there's a lot more story to tell, and there's a lot more diversity into the types of stories and characters that they they can have in this universe. So I do think it's a smart move in that sense.
I think I am of the opinion that they've done 9 of these movies mostly pretty well, and so I'd rather see them shake it up by joining the MCU.
Yeah,
but it'd be cool. It's not going to. It's not.
Yeah.
But it is cool. This is a good opportunity for them to not only tackle a storyline that they kind of whiffed a little bit, but it's also an opportunity to focus on Cyclops and Jean Grey, who've kind of not been serviced as well as other characters, Wolverine. And so I think that's exciting too, because we've got, in the Starjammers, we've got Cyclops' dad if he shows up, and the Dark Phoenix is dealing with Jean. So I want to thank you guys for discussing this with me. I love Roth 101. I love Danielle 101.
DJ 101.
Tune in for
DJ 101.
more of that later. But we want to know in the comments down below if you guys think that Simon Kinberg is ready to tackle the director's chair, if he's ready for this movie, and what type of cosmic elements do you want to see in this X-Men movie or in the future X-Men franchise? Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to be nice to each other down there. And thanks for watching. Please click here for more internet videos. Tweet us at SJ News. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. We'll see you next time.